Welcome to What's Up Oxford. I'm Shannon Woolley, and I'm here today with two lovely ladies from United Way, Lindsay and Amanda. So welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Of course, Amanda, you've been here before. Welcome to the show, Lindsay. I understand this is your first time. You are about a month into the United Way.
Exactly. Yeah, okay. I started September 12th, so settling in.
Welcome to the United Way family. I say that like I'm part of it.
Yes, you are. You definitely are. I see you so often.
So I just learned something new today, actually, about the United Way, that you are, of course, local. All the money raised stays local, but you also will only hire local people.
Yeah, so our board of directors, our volunteer base, our employee base, we're all in Oxford County, just because we know how important it is to be a part of the community that we're fundraising and supporting in, and just understanding that community. It's hard to understand if you're not living and breathing it every day.
Living and breathing it, of course. So, Lindsay, you're here to talk about what actually happens. So we have all these events and the community comes together and raises money, and then what do we do with it?
Exactly. So Amanda works really hard to make sure we have the funding to be able to support our community. And then, of course, there's a very rigorous process to be able to get that money out into the community. So we're just starting that process now with a group of about 30 volunteers who help us vet and review the applications. So it is not staff that make any of those decisions. We support our volunteers to review statements of interest, and then they're invited to go through a full application process. So we have, like I said, a group of volunteers that read through those applications and make those decisions in the coming months.
So what would be an example of something that, I mean, I don't know if you can say this because it might disclose privacy, but what would be an example that somebody would approach United Way and ask for money?
I mean, it varies across our pillars, but really what we try to do is find needs in the community and then make the investments according to those needs. So one of the things we're also doing right now is what we call community conversations. And so that's going out into the community with groups we really want to hear from. So seniors is a great example. We're going to have a couple of, they're almost like kitchen table conversations. Tell us what you're thinking, what are your needs, what's working, what's not working, and your aspirations for the community. So seniors, youth, all those kinds of things.
And are most vulnerable, seniors and youth.
Absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely. And so based on what we hear, we can make the investments based on what the community is saying they need. So when the applications come through, we help our volunteers understand those community needs, what we've been hearing, and then they can make their decisions on the applications based on what the need is from our community.
Okay, and I know we were talking just before we got started here that there was a stigma at one point where people thought that the funds raised was not going locally, that United Way, because it's such a huge, worldwide organization. But can you talk about that it's not the case?
So it's every dollar raised in Oxford County stays in Oxford County. There is a way to support the communities you're in because we work with so many different workplaces, right? So when you look at banks, for example, banks would have employees across United Way boundaries. So you can designate that money to where you live, right? So if we're working with a bank or a school, for example, and that person lives in London, they're able to flow that money through United Way to United Way of Elgin Middlesex to support the community that their kids are attending the schools in or that they are.
I can attest to that. I previously worked at a major financial institution and I did the payroll deductions, and you could actually, on the little drop down, you could say specifically which organization, because my head office was 55 Yonge Street in downtown Toronto. I didn't want my donation going, no offense to Toronto, but I wanted it to stay local. So
yeah, that is the core value of United Way.
Right.
And all the organizations that apply for funding have to be registered charities in Oxford County and doing work in Oxford County as well.
Okay, so you have some events coming up. I know we had, last week we had the Stair Climb folks on, which is coming up shortly. What other fundraising events are coming up?
Yeah, so we'll have our online auction the first week of December, which is always awesome. We usually have about 100 items up for bids, and we really try to focus on some of those fun experiences. There's so much to do in our community. Some of those cool things, like we always have a flight into Harvard, or trying to get like some of those tastings, or the build your own soaps, those fun things that we can do to support our own community here. And then we have our 12 Days of Giving will be the first couple weeks of December, which is a focus on actual giving and having a match program so that we can, that year-end fundraising piece, to try to fill that gap. Because we know, after seeing our applications, there's more organizations applying for funding than what we have funding for.
Okay.
Right. We know the needs are growing up. We know things like food security and mentorship and all of the, again, those pillars that we invest in, mental health supports. We know the need is there. So we need to try to, as a fundraiser, raise the funds so that we can do the work That's why we raise funds, is so we can do the work that we need to do.
Right, of course. So if people are watching now and hearing this auction, because I'll be honest, I didn't know that there was an auction. So I've learned something else new today. So what does that look like? Are they just items that people bid online and like Christmas gifts kind of thing? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
And,
then if
a lot of
somebody wants to-
services, if you provide a service,
Okay.
like if you are a photographer or a landscaper, we do a lot of those kind of like vouchers as well.
So that's a really great opportunity for small business owners, let's say like massage therapy or offering different services as a way to get their business out there as well.
Yeah, and we do have a really good reach with our auction because it goes out to all of our workplaces and our volunteers and through our socials and stuff. So we do get a lot of traction on the website. And then if you just want to come on and bid, you can come on and bid the first week of December.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to the auction then, or I know I look forward to the auction. Let's see what's available. Thank you so much for being here today, ladies. We look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yeah, thanks, Shannon.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.